Hey everybody, welcome to Bura. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about Udemy's short interest as well as some technical analysis. All right, welcome back. So let's take a look here at some of the stock here. And as you can see, it's gone up a little bit here, but if we zoom out to maybe the year here, things are still down mostly from the top here, about 55%. But today, I want to talk about the technical analysis. Yesterday, I did talk a little bit about the earnings report. And today, let's take a look at the technical analysis here. Now, I'm taking a look at two charts here, the day chart and the hour chart. And there's a lot of things that, there's a lot to unpack here. So the last one that I drew here, so if I kind of draw another one here. So we did have, for example, this line here was kind of the last one. And if you look at the top line, and I'm just going to, can I delete that? Yes, I can. Okay, so this is the line that is a new line here of resistance. And as you can see, the downtrend still continues. And there's one thing that you need to really look at here, and that's this here. This is a pretty big gap, and that gap will most likely fill at some point to the upside. I'm sure of it, unless Udemy doesn't really get their act together and it gets delisted. That's unlikely, but it could happen if they don't, well, you know, we'll see. But anyway, nevertheless, you can see that there is a gap here on the day chart. And you can see that the resistance line, well, is pretty, it's kind of solid here, right? So last we had a steeper downtrend. It looks like the downtrend has now, like if you just take a look at the angles between that other one and this one's less of an angle. So you can see that, you know, we can see that we have to get above 15 in the next few days in order to break this downtrend. So that's the number that you should be looking at. The second thing that you need to look at is the hour chart. Now, the hour chart, I have two lines here, and it's kind of hard to see because it's kind of where the stock is at. But I basically draw this kind of range here, and of course this isn't like this is a little bit of a weaker technical analysis here. But you can see that the range at the bottom here, we're kind of hovering around the support level here, right? And you can see that there's these two areas where it's gone above resistance and below support for a bit. But essentially, you know, we kind of have, you know, 16 something here-ish, 1620, 1630. And then we have like a more bigger and more hard resistance at 17, right? So as you can see, this is kind of the range, and I expect this to be range bound here. And I wouldn't be surprised if this gap fills sooner rather than later. But again, we do have to get above 15 to get on the hour or the daily chart here. Now, I don't think the monthly chart looks any good here, but that's not what I'm interested in, because sometimes, especially if stocks are new, certain time frames work better than others, and in this case, the daily and the hourly chart work well. All right, let's talk a little bit about short interest. So if you take a look at the short interest here, there's a lot of things that you can take a look at here. So if you go to short volumes in Udemy, you can take a look at the amount of short here. And if you don't know what a short is like you're basically betting against the stock, and you're basically betting against the stock here. But as you can see, the short interest has been pretty high, and that kind of makes sense because, well, you know, it looks like things have been down here. Now, is Udemy a short? Well, it looks like a lot of people think so. But again, it's not something I would short just because I know their core product is good, except they really need to have consumer marketplace growth. And we saw that there was almost none. And that's not good. So expect until they get like 70, 80, 90% growth, or well, let's say 70% growth, just like in UFB here on the consumer marketplace. I don't expect these shorts. I expect these shorts to continue to climb. But as you can see, but then again, they're actually pretty high here, like 91%. The total short volume. Again, so the other thing about Udemy here is that there's not a lot of volume going through it at all. And you should, and that's something that you need to understand. And the reason why is that, like, if there's a low volume, then like big buyers can completely take out these shorts. And so is Udemy set up for a short squeeze? Well, probably not. If there is, it's not going to be too big. But anyway, if you look at this here, you know, we had 92%. And then, right? But then again, the volume isn't very big on that day. So it's like, so you have to understand that, we're dealing with low volume here. And you can see that the volume has picked up, right? And in this case, it's half. So this is a little bit more indicative. So half the people, or a little bit less than half the people, are actually betting against Udemy. So that's interesting. With this volume here. In fact, I think that is the biggest volume by far here. In fact, if you were to take up the last few days here, this is more than that. So take a look at this here, and if the short interest starts to go down, and the price goes down, then that means that people are selling Udemy, right? But if the short interest goes up and the price goes down, it means that the short pressure is really on here. And those shorts need to cover, meaning that the price should bounce back at some point to something near where they start shorting it. So that's something that's interesting. Now again, with shorts are like the double black diamond of investing. Don't do it unless you really, really need to. And if you are going to short something, it's better to day trade something like an ETF or an ETN with commodities. I do that a lot, actually, right? For the most part, you have to take a look at this here, and the pressure here seems to be quite big on the short side here. And if we just take a look at the stock here, it looks like things have gone up just a bit as I was talking here. So again, just to recap here, we're looking for about a $15-ish break to break this daily downtrend. Otherwise, things might consolidate like last time. So we had a downtrend, it broke, and then it consolidated. Now it's back on a downtrend. So I wouldn't be surprised if this line continues to get more and more flat with a downtrend until some of these shorts kind of go up here. Or Udemy tends to get its act together on the consumer marketplace, because that's the number one number you need to look at. And in terms of the health, and I've talked about this at length on this channel, all right? So that concludes this video. Please comment down below. We don't get enough comments on this channel, so please comment. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.